Let's remember what this is all about. Let's do a catch up on the news, everything that seems to be happening out there as it pertains to Bible prophecy of end times as it leads us to understand when the last 7 years of the tribulation would possibly get started. Knowing just prior to that, there would be a sudden destruction, and that's God interfering in this world in the affairs of Israel. And also just prior to that sudden destruction, there is a need to remove the church. That's our understanding of Scripture all the way up to this point of many years of study. Well, that's where we are today. So let's pick it up from there. The anticipation of, and so many are saying, and to what degree, I'm not sure, feel confident. They do, I don't, that today, September 23rd, would be 8 years to the day that actual Revelation 12:1 sign happened. And that's what actually started this channel, was on the 24th. So tomorrow will be the 8 days. Sorry, I did it again. 8 years that I have been doing this and accumulating the information and bringing it all together into one point to be able to understand what it is that we do now. The rapture is supposed to happen today. Let's take a look again. Rosh Hashanah, which is being actually practiced right now by the Jews. It says right here, let's see, November 22nd, it starts that, let's see, September 22nd, it starts right here, and it goes to September 24th. So this is the 23rd. And so I guess we could say we still have one more day left. So the rapture, again, is supposed to happen today. Now, we'll see. Let's get back into the news and what's going on again. The UN General Assembly is happening today, and this is all the big wigs. This is the big nations, the strong ones, that they will stand up in front of everybody and they'll give this speech, and some of it will sound profound, and the other is just going to be condemning Israel. We pretty much know that's going to happen, right? Okay, so let's see where I am here. Get my pages correct here, if possible. I think it is. Yeah. Okay, I've got it. So, hang on here one second. I seem to be missing a page. Okay, here we go. Let's see. Trump is expected to discuss principles around the Israeli withdrawal from Gaza post-war. Please get the post-war in there. Most of the talks probably seen today are going to be about a discussion of what's going to happen in the Gaza Strip post-war. Okay, so in other words, Israel somehow is going to defeat Hamas, and we're going to go from there. So let's see. Freeing the hostages is going to be part of it. I expect to discuss principles around Israel's withdrawal. We're going to talk about just a little bit here, a couple minutes here, some more about that. Israel's withdrawal from the post-war governance of Gaza, and that's without Hamas's involvement. The U.S. also wants the Arab and Muslim countries to agree to sending military forces to Gaza to enable Israelis' withdrawal to secure the Arab Muslim funding. He wants to secure the funding for the transition period. Again, what are we talking about here? I'm talking about post-war. So Trump is bringing up this whole idea right here of getting the Arab and Muslims to agree to fund and support, take care of, be involved in the Gaza Strip post-war. Okay. Indonesia, Monday said his country is prepared to send soldiers as a keep piecing force. Now, you understand what's happening here, right? Okay, we're getting a buildup of what's going to be said today, and this is giving us an idea of where this is all going to go. Okay, let's go a little bit further here. Tomorrow, which ends up being today, because this part of this article, there's several parts here to this. We have a pretty good idea of the contour of building within the Gaza Strip ending the war. Well, again, this is when the war ends. We want to present what we think is the only viable path forward. We want regional buy-in and support to make it successful. This is coming from some of the U.S. officials. Between the lines, the Arab and U.S. officials insist this would be a U.S. plan, not merely as Israel planned. So what it's saying there is Trump and his officials are putting together what they would see something to be able to talk to the Arabs about that could be possibly accepted by Israel. Okay, that's basically, I just summarized this whole first page. An Israeli official said Prime Minister Netanyahu is aware of the plans outlined, but also knows there will be parts of Israeli government that uh, government won't likely, specifically regarding the Palestinian Authority future involved in Gaza. There will be no, it's saying here, I'm paraphrasing what was said here. It would be a bitter pill to swallow for Israel. Okay. It's unclear whether Trump will also discuss the Gaza proposal in his speech at the UN. I'm pretty sure he's probably going to have, many are going to have something to say about this, which will take place several hours before the meeting. And what that really means is you have to understand that this is an opportunity for many of the nation's leaders to get together and talk separately. I mean, they go to their hotel room, they go to a conference room, and they sit around and they discuss things prior to their actual, speech that they're going to give. Let's see. Now, this is a week from Monday, so 6 days away. Netanyahu will arrive in the White House for the fourth meeting with Trump, and Gaza will be on top of the agenda. So looking into the future, what's actually happening today at the UN General Assembly, what's actually going on within Gaza, we understand at this time when it comes to the war with Israel is pushing forward with 3 armored and infantry divisions to occupy Gaza city. So Gaza is being greatly warred upon, and success is looking to be very much in Israel's hands and not that far away. Remember what we said Sunday on the video. I said that I actually pictured in my own mind an understanding. And that understanding is when Israel defeats Hamas, obviously, when they defeat them and it's obvious that they are defeating them, Israel will be saying, considering now we're going to have peace and safety. And I use scripture to bring that around. That's 1 Thessalonians 5:3, Paul. When they say that peace is safety, and that's the Jews now saying it, then that sudden destruction would happen that we've been talking about for a long time. And that would, again, just prior to that, it would be the rapture. So you see how I rounded all this off to where we can use scripture to get where we are, but then we look at the news and see what's happening. And they're all talking about a post-war and trying to make Israel feel comfortable. And then I'm going to bring this up too. I have this on top of my written scribbly notes here, that Hamas is calling for a 60-day ceasefire. They want to pause in fighting, and they're willing to give up half of the hostages. And that's their wording. What is that in short? That's Hamas panicking. Hamas realizes it's in trouble. And what it's doing is it's saying, okay, we're willing to give up half the hostages. You tell Israel to back off for 60 days. All of that's doing is it's feeding the propaganda machine that Hamas uses very successfully, actually. And this is going to do nothing more than increase the rioting in the streets of Israel and other countries. They're going to go from what they're doing is they're, protesting in the streets. It turns to rioting. And by the way, that scene in scripture to describe what's taking place is called a tumult. And you'll see that in Psalms 83. If you want to read that whole thing again, we'll bring all this back around to light, possibly giving credence to why people are thinking now this General Assembly would be a time for the rapture to happen. Okay, let's see, Israel, I'm just going over my notes here. Oh yes, I wanted to discuss probably more in the next day or two, if not on Sunday, the strategy of Iran. Iran, along with the Houthis, are basically a danger to Israel, a serious danger. And we've talked about this before. Should Iran see Hamas losing, would Iran, along with the Houthis, decide to coordinate a missile attack on Israel? If that scenario should play out, that would be what was seen then in Zechariah 12:4, where God would stop that. He wouldn't allow those missiles to hit Israel. And you'll read in Zechariah 4, I don't have it right here in front of me, read it before, and that is that he will blind the horses and confuse them, and the same with the men. So in other words, they're not going to be able to strike Israel. But Zechariah 12 says, in that day. So in other words, in that day, Iran should decide with the Houthis to rain missiles down upon Israel. That to me is very possible and would be seen is when God comes out of his place and protects Israel. And of course, then we have the rapture, and then we have that one day where God eliminates the surrounding enemies of Israel. That's Psalms 83. And the world will know that it was the Jews, God, that stepped in to help and to save Israel. For the world will know, and that's Psalms 83:18, that it was God that protected Israel. Okay, for now, I hope that helps. Kind of brings things back around again. I'll keep an eye on this. Maybe a day or two, I'll come back and report just to keep you updated. But that's everything kind of like, condensed into one. Hope that was helpful to you. Okay, until next video or Sunday, I hope that was helpful.